Tonight on Nova Legends podcast, I have Langley Coach Amanda Baker, whose Lady Saxons just won the region, the Northern region again, and are on the way to a state quarterfinal matchup against West Potomac. Actually, a rematch against West Potomac. Coach, great to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me. Always happy to talk to you.
Oh well, I know when you got my email, you knew that. I won the region, so Julian all of a sudden wants to talk to me again. So I assume you knew exactly what that email was all about this morning. Is that true?
It's always good news when I hear from you because that means it's postseason and I must be doing okay.
Exactly. Well, Tom Sturbutzel, my college friend, and I think your freshman coach, tried to talk me out of talking to you. I'm like, he thinks I'm bad luck, and I'm like, I talk to all the coaches. Someone has to win, so don't blame things on me. But I don't know. It's your coach. I can't explain that. So well, anyway, let me give you background, coach. You played at Forest Park for Christy Kelly, whose Oklahoma Osborne Park team was one of the teams to beat this season. You won a state championship at Forest Park. You went to Mary Washington, played there. Had a great career there. I think you went to a Final Eight or Final Four, coach.
Final four my junior year. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. You had a great career there, and you've been killing it. And at Langley, I know you work in IT, but as a coach, you've just been killing it at Langley for almost 10 years now, coach.
This is 14.
Oh my God, 14
I
years.
know.
You're like one of the older coaches now.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right behind Priester. So
Oh, not that close.
exactly. Yeah. Well, look, I made it to your game on Friday made it to your game yesterday. I got there late in the first quarter. And when I walked in, I hit some traffic. You guys are already up 20. Um, that game must have, as a coach, it must have been perfection. You play in a high pressure environment like that. It's a regional final. Playing against a really good team, and you go out there and everything that you guys did just worked to perfection yesterday.
It was unexpected. That I was very shocked by the score myself. I mean, I followed Oakton pretty closely throughout the course of the year and saw their games leading up to this. So yeah, I think it was kind of a perfect storm of things going well on our side, and it took me by surprise.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I mean, a little less stressful than some of the close games we've had.
Yeah, it really was. You guys were in like cruise mode, and the thing that's it's surprising about this team, Tom has shared with me that you guys are young. Obviously, I know Anya really well, but some of the other players I don't know so well. And you got two freshmen that are really good players, but you guys have a savviness and a confidence. Um, I felt like you got the lead, and there was really no drama. And sometimes there's always like a run. Teams get back in the game, but I just felt like your team played with a lot of confidence, kind of beyond their years.
Yeah, time and score are something that we're still learning as a group, but having a veteran like Maddie with the ball in her hands helps a lot because she kind of dictated tempo of like, all right, guys, with the current time and score, we want to be really patient. You know, Anya was echoing the same thing. Peyton, even as a senior forward, she kind of knew the deal of we don't want to give them too many more possessions. Like, let's close this out with great ball movement and patience. And the freshmen are so willing to listen and absorb everything around them that it kind of followed suit. So, yeah, I think it was a lot of player led decision making out there that they understood that in order to prevent a run, we don't want to give them the ball back too much.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Maddie. It's Maddie Shamlou.
Yes.
And she's a junior
Mhm.
point guard, but she's been playing varsity for a couple of years at least, right, Coach?
She began starting her freshman year, first game. Didn't start that game actually, but our point guard at the time got hurt immediately, concussion. And so Maddie moved into the starting lineup the next game.
Yeah, and she seemed to be all over the floor yesterday. Just very active, making good plays, very patient, but definitely in the play. Um, Anya, she's awesome. It's funny because I remember her as a freshman, she was very small and very effective, and now she's really grown up, and but all the same skill and more confidence. I feel like Anya has really developed over the years.
Anya is like a tremendous story of growth and maturity and just showing what you can do over 4 years if you really pour everything you have into it. Because I remember her the same way when I first met her as an eighth grader, just being like, okay, this is a nice young lady with talent. But seeing her now, she was like a woman amongst girls at times, like
Yeah.
just a true senior killing it.
Yeah, physically, she's a different player. I remember, and I've shared this with you before. I was at a soccer game, Langley, and she came
Mhm.
up to me and said, "You interviewed my coach." And that's when I
Mhm.
first met her. She was little, and now she's as tall. She's as tall as I am. So it's great to see that. Well, let's talk about your freshman, Mariah Arma. I believe I pronounced that right. Very very physical player. Does not necessarily appear to be a freshman, and very effective player. And Alice Allen. Talk about your freshmen. Did you know about them coming into this season? Did you know what middle school they went to? Were you familiar with them?
So I met Alice last year. She came to a game, and I think either her mom or another mom, because she was with another girl, they introduced me to her. And I was like, oh, that's a nice little girl, but I didn't know what I was dealing with at the time. And then we do the Rising Ninth Grade League every spring. Fairfax High School hosts it. And the high school coaches get to meet your incoming class, and you coach maybe like 5 or 6 games for them. And so you get a chance to kind of feel out your talent coming in, and they get to meet you. And after like 1 or 2 games of seeing those two in particular, I was like, wow, we've got some real studs coming in. And it didn't take long. Like we invited them to play varsity fall league right away. It became very apparent they belonged. And seeing them in the varsity fall league, I was like, wow, this is not what I was expecting at the end of last season. Like we've got some real players joining us. And I even told that group one day in a fall league game, I was like, guys, this could be the best team we've ever had.
Wow.
And we've had some good teams. Just looking at the talent in this circle with me, I'm like, this might be the most talent we've ever had. And I don't know if they believe me at the moment, but it's kind of coming true now, just seeing how it's all coming together.
Well, you're regional champs, coach, and that's amazing. When you're at a school like Langley and you have freshmen like us, I guess you always have to be concerned that they never even arrive at Langley because they can end up at Gonzaga or wherever. I don't know necessarily the women's programs as well. I guess Bishop Ireton or Paul VI. So I guess is it always a worry when you have these freshmen that are really talented that they actually show up in your program?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think about because there's so many options, and
Mhm.
I don't blame them for exploring options, especially if they have aspirations to, play at a high collegiate level. Because a lot of schools around here have a track record of being able to kind of not guarantee, but put you on a certain path. So there's certainly a little bit of, self-doubt of like, well, do they want the experience I can offer, or do they want something that maybe somebody else can offer? And I'm so excited they both came because I think that they're enjoying the Langley experience. And it just goes to show, playing with your friends, playing in your community, it can be very fulfilling. And it's you can still get on the path you want to get on. So I'm hopeful that these two can maybe be pioneers in that way. I mean, obviously, Anya's playing at Carnegie Mellon, which is a fantastic Division III institute. So maybe they'll see like, hey, there are players going to college from Langley, and maybe they'll take it a step further. We'll see.
Langley's an amazing institution. It's a great school academically, and I mean your record speaks for itself. So you're lucky to have them, but they're also lucky to be at Langley. I've known my kids went to Yorktown and we competed against Langley, and we always loved compete. McLean we always hated. I'm sorry, but Langley we always they were kind of our friendly competitors, and we always had a lot of respect for them. I'm getting myself in trouble here, but this is mostly on the boys' side. And this is mostly soccer. But let's talk about some of your other players. Um, Peyton Daly is a player that caught my eye yesterday. Very physical player. Uh, Tom told me, Sturbutzel told me she was having a really great game, really active. She's a great lacrosse player, I guess, as
Mhm.
well. But she was a very physical player. I thought she had a nice game yesterday.
Peyton is essential to our success. I mean, the way that she plays is apparent that she's very physical and talented. But the part that maybe is not as obvious without knowing her well is she's brilliant, extremely savvy basketball mind. She knows every play, every spot of every play. If I tell her a very specific nuance for an opponent, I only have to say it once, and Peyton will remember, and then she'll remember it the next time we play them. So, yeah, her physical stature is huge for us. And But the savvy and the smarts are, I think, a huge component of our success.
Yeah. There was a play yesterday in the fourth quarter, and someone was missing a garden assignment, and you guys were up 18 or 20, you just scored. And she was panicked, and she was in the post, and she was trying to get someone's attention. Who's guarding that person? And it wasn't time to panic, but it was a good instinct. Like, look, come on, guys, no matter what the score is, who's got that person? And I remembered that, and I was like, wow, this is someone who's really paying attention, no matter what the score.
I think
So
I know which situation you're talking about because it was an open shooter and she knew the scout and she's like, why is this person alone?
yeah, I was like, this is someone that doesn't rest on their laurels. So
Mhm.
obviously, I can see why she's so successful. Another person I noticed was Vicky Zawiska, a
Vicky
junior.
Suiza. It took me a
Zuiza.
while to figure that one out too.
Uh, I'm sorry, Vicky. Tell us a little bit about Vicky.
Vicky is amazing. Vicky was actually a starter last year and played, every minute of every game. And I think early on when we started to realize, Mariah and Alice had starter potential, can't start six people, can't start seven people. So we asked, Vicky to move out of the starting lineup. And that's a hard ask for a junior who, is used to starting for a year. You never really know how a player's going to take that sort of ask. And she's just been a complete professional in the situation. She's always ready, no matter what. Like it could be a couple minutes, or we could ask her to play 30 minutes. She is 100% locked in and ready. And to have that sort of maturity and like high standard coming off the bench, it's a luxury because we just know, like, no matter what, there's no drop off. If Vicky comes in, we are firing on all cylinders still because she knows exactly what to do.
Yeah. Well, Coach, did I miss anyone? Some of your main contributors. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone that plays a lot for you. Did we cover most of
That's
them?
our top six. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the one thing I noticed yesterday, and you guys went to I would say it's a delay game, but you guys were definitely trying to score off a delay game, which is very effective and that can be very frustrating for a team that's trying to chase the game when you're behind, and a team is very comfortable holding the ball and they're very comfortable shooting layups on you as well, and also occasional open three out of a delay game. Is that a very intentional thing? Is that very much a part of what you do?
Just with the time and score. I think it depends situationally on opponents, but for that particular moment and having that lead, and we just kind of wanted the game to be over, it was
Yeah.
be patient. Other games we can play more up-tempo style where it's transition and quick shots. It's just what the situation calls for. And in that case, it was we had a big lead. Let's use clock and get out of here.
Yes, that's true. And in a game like that, and we're going to get to your next opponent, but in a game like that, you're not really worried about your next opponent. I mean, you have no idea if Robinson or West Potomac are going to win, and they're both
Right.
good teams. So you don't really worry about the next matchup when you're coaching a regional final.
No, but as soon as the nets were cut down, I looked at my athletic director. I was like, "Do we know? Who are we
Exactly.
playing?" And he knew pretty quickly. So yeah, and definitely in the moment as it's happening. But as soon as it was over, I think my mind started to go to, all right, let's start thinking about Tuesday because it's a quick turnaround.
It is. It is. It's a strange format these days. Were you Robinson or West Potomac? Did you have a preference going in?
No preference. I mean, I knew they were both going to be tough. So, and we've seen both. So I had a little bit of familiarity. So yeah, didn't have a preference.
Yeah. Well, you're one of my favorite coaches, Coach Amanda, but I did go to Robinson, I have to say.
I
So
do too.
yeah, so I'm happy you're playing West Potomac. Well, let's talk about your schedule this year. I noticed you played some really salty teams. You had some nice wins. You beat Robinson, and you beat O'Connell. O'Connell's generally good on the girls' side. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, they have a strong program.
Yeah, and then you took a loss to I forgot who you lost to. You lost to one of the big private schools, but you definitely had a tough schedule. Did you know when you put that schedule together that you had these strong freshmen coming in?
Part of the schedule was once I knew about the freshmen. So some of the games were already slated. The tip off, we knew Woodgrove was coming. So that was a defending state champion. We wanted to have a strong start against them. Robinson was assigned, West Post was assigned, but I was happy because we knew they were going to be good teams. But yeah, once I saw the freshmen and things were developing in fall league, that's when we got into the St. John's tournament. And so we played good council there. and St. John's. And we did beat Good Counsel, so that was a private school win. And we lost to St. John's, but it was a tremendous opportunity for us to kind of calibrate ourselves against one of the best programs in the area. So those were added, and I think Stone Ridge was added once I saw kind of what was going on with the team and trying to strengthen our schedule.
Yeah. Well, before we get more into this year, we never really wrapped up last year. I talked to you early in the year.
Mhm.
Last year, I think it's probably fair to say it was a little bit uneven year for you guys. I think you started out really hot, and then you guys kind of maybe plateaued a bit. I don't remember. Should look back on it. But tell us a little bit about last year, so I can get a sense of where your mindset was coming into this year.
Yeah, last year was a great lesson in dealing with uncontrollables. I think that was the first time we dealt with real injuries, sicknesses, things that kind of derailed the end of the season, honestly. And it felt at times like very helpless, where it's like, well, what we can't do anything about this. There's no like play to fix this. There's no physical adjustment on the court. Like a kid is sick and can't play, and that's a big change for us. Or an injury has happened that has changed the way this person's able to play, and it shook us a little bit. And it was a great lesson for our team and for me as a coach too, about just sometimes things just don't go your way.
Yeah.
And it was a great perspective change as I went into this season of just enjoying everything, because you never know when someone's going to get sick or an injury is going to happen, and be grateful each game that, okay, I've got all the players here, or as many as we can. There might be one or two sick. But particularly in this postseason, I was just relieved every day. I would text the captains, like, everybody feeling good? We're all healthy? All right, we can play it. Like, we're good. So it was a tough ending last year because we had a good team. And dealing with things like that, it was hard to swallow for a while, honestly. Probably a couple months even after the season, I was still kind of just not bitter, but I felt like we didn't get what we deserved. And it can be unfair at times. That's kind of the good and bad of playing sports.
Is that normal? You learn more every year, and every year you develop as a coach, and there are new things that you learn, and that experience can make you even take you to the next level.
It certainly, that experience in particular motivated me a lot. I was like, I want to have the best year because that did not feel good. And I knew Anya and Peyton being seniors, I was like, this is their last chance. Like, they're deserving of this. They're working so hard. Like, we all have to be all in on this year. That don't want to end like last year.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say, you guys could not be playing better than you are right now. I believe, in a 15 game winning streak. And your freshmen are no longer freshmen. They've played 25 games or whatever it is, 26 games. So I mean, they have a lot of experience. Have you enjoyed watching them develop as a team this season? It's pretty obvious that you probably have.
Oh yeah. It's so fun. There are moments I sit back and I'm like laughing to myself because it's just so cool, like to see the growth of a person, and then even more the coming together of a team. It's so difficult to get people to, one, understand their role. Accepting their role is a whole nother thing. And then for all five of them to do it at the same time, six, seven, eight, like obviously we have people that come in and out of the games too that need to know their job. It's just so incredible to see because it's difficult to do. And to their credit, they kind of wanted to figure it out very quickly, especially after we had a couple early losses in the season. And yeah, and I'm finding myself going back and watching games from the beginning of the year because we played Madison early, lost to them, and then we played them again in the region. And so I was like, let me go look what happened last time. And watching the game, I'm like, God, it's not even the same team. I
Yeah.
say with West Po, I went back and watched our first game, and I'm like, I don't even recognize like what we're doing. Our roles are so different. We've figured out how to use everybody, and they've figured out how to play with each other. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you're steeped in the Virginia basketball tradition. You went to the state tournament, as we mentioned, and you won a state tournament. You know how important it is, how special it is. Do these kids get it? Do they know how cool it is to be playing? A lot of folks aren't playing now. We're down to 8 teams in Class 6. Do they actually know how special it is to be playing right now?
That's a great question because the freshmen are so new to this, and I have four out of our 13. So four are completely new. This is their first experience in high school. But then I have a few that, they've experienced some of the heartache of last year and how hard it is to win a championship at any level. And it's been a few years for Langley. Our last district championship was 2018. So we were in a bit of a
Really? I
drought.
feel like you've won a few since then because I've
Now we've been in a lot of championship games, but we haven't made
wow.
gotten over the hump. So I think seniors and juniors probably feel it a little bit more. And I hope the freshmen enjoy it so much that this is all they're ever going to feel. But I think when it's all said and done and we reflect on it, then maybe it'll hit a little bit more. But right now they're living day to day. So I haven't, pointed it out as clearly to them that there's only a couple teams still playing up here.
Yeah. Well, we won't mention it, and hopefully they're not listening, but just keep having fun. This is no big deal. Go out there and just do what coach says. Well, what does it mean to you, though? I mean, again, you know all about this, and like a guy like my sister won a state championship at Robinson. She actually won two. We lost in the first round of districts, and I never even played in a regional tournament. But I'm a big fan of the state tournament, regional tournament, which is why I do this. I love it. So I know how important it is. But what about you? What does it mean to you? And actually, since you haven't even won a state championship since 2018, I say you haven't even because your record is amazing. But what does it mean to you to be back in the state tournament?
Oh, it's so special. It's a lot of time and energy, and it's kind of, I don't know, not a reward. I don't know how to explain it. It feels really good to know that that time and energy, not only in developing young women and helping them, facilitating this experience for them, but showing them like what they're capable of. And the state tournament has kind of this ring to it or a specialness to it that almost codifies like, yes, you are exceptional. And so I love that they can kind of leave this experience knowing that they were exceptional and they helped our program and they earned it. Because I tell my first team that made it to the state tournament, it's like, we didn't sign up for this. Like, there wasn't a permission slip where you pay the entry. Like, the only way to get here is to win and earn it. And I love that now, especially this group can, whatever happens, leave their high school experience knowing they did something that is extremely difficult to do. So that makes me feel really good that this group of 13 will have that feeling forever.
It's amazing. Congratulations to the team and the parents and the community. You and Justin together, because I believe Justin went to a state tournament as well, didn't he, at West Springfield? Or
I know they did well in the region tournament and they lost to Hernan. So I think it might have been regions
okay, so
his
okay,
senior year. But he was a
oh,
great player.
he really was. I remember him. But in terms of state tournaments, I have to say Justin, Coach Amanda is killing you right now. Well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about West Potomac. Now, you could have played West
Okay.
Potomac, you could have played West Potomac, and you could have played Robinson. Would you rather play a team that you've beaten or a team that you lost to? Here's why I asked that. So last year, as you know, South Lakes won the boys championship, and they got destroyed by Patriot during the regular season. And I was down there. I was at Patriot. They didn't play particularly well, but I felt like in the state championship, Patriot's success kind of hamstrung them. That they didn't really make any changes because they'd already beaten South Lakes so easily. South Lakes came back a completely different team, and it was never a game. I mean, they controlled the state final from start to finish, and the rest is history. But what about you? When you think about rematches, how much does it matter who won the first game?
Oh, it's a great question. I think just because thinking how early we played them in the season, all three teams, us, Robinson, and Westpo, are different. So whatever happened then, it's such a long time ago that it's hard to say like who has the mental edge advantage. And I definitely don't want to give anybody any fuel for Tuesday but I learn more from a loss. I'll say that. So your point about, who's making adjustments and such, I think oftentimes the losing team does have a bit of an edge in a rematch, the losing team from the first time, because they're so committed to fixing what happened the first time. So I don't know that that answers your question. I may not directly answer your question,
Yeah.
but my 2 cents.
You answered it. You were a bit cagey, but you answered the question. How would you describe West Potomac?
Ooh, athletic, quick, extremely quick, and a lot of firepower. I know they have a lot of guards that can score. I actually coached, so Coach Houston is a family friend.
Right.
Justin knows him well,
Yeah.
and I coached Dawn, his daughter, one summer
Okay.
in AAU. So
And
not this past
Justin
summer.
and David worked together at some point too, right?
Justin was on David's staff,
Right.
yes, for
Sorry to
many
interrupt.
years.
Yeah.
And then Coach Houston was his coach in high school at West Springfield for 1 year. So they go way back. Obviously, I've been with Justin for a long time, so I know Coach Houston well. But coaching Dawn was really fun. So it's kind of cool that I get to see her on Tuesday, and I'll be happy to see her and wish her well.
And the game is at Langley because you won.
It actually won't be at Langley. It's too
oh,
small.
I'm sorry, it's at Wakefield.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be at Wakefield. I'm still waiting on final confirmation on that.
What a great environment that is. I loved it.
Mhm.
I had the best time. So you may have mentioned this, but what are some of the keys to victory? And obviously, with their athleticism, you're gonna have to make sure you control the boards and match their physicality. But what are some of the keys to victory?
I think one-on-one defense is going to be important. They have a lot of guards that can, break down a defender. So we have to be great on the ball and have really good help. I think the first time we played them, we were still kind of learning our rotations and it showed. So now that we have our foundation of rotations a lot more sound, I feel better about that. But I really think containing dribble penetration and their guards, that's what I remember the most about them, the power that they brought from the perimeter.
Right. Well, I can't wait. It's Tuesday, and it's I guess time to be announced, time and place to be
I think
announced.
7. I'm pretty
7.
sure it's 7.
Okay. Um, Now I'm not asking you to look ahead, and the only reason I'm going to talk about Osborne Park is because you know the coach really well. They beat Gainesville by 50 points. Now
Mhm.
that is insane to win a regional final by 50. What is going on down in Osborne Park?
Well, we scrimmaged Osborne Park. They were actually our first scrimmage, and we scrimmaged them without Anya. Anya was recovering from a wrist injury,
I'm
so
sorry to
that was
hear.
an experience for our freshmen.
Yeah.
But she's loaded with talent, great guards. They have a very solid post player, so they have all the pieces that you need, and highly motivated. I mean, somebody like Coach Kelly, I know she knows how to bring out whatever everyone's maximum potential. So I think they're expecting to win in the sense that they expect a lot of themselves. They hold themselves to a very high standard, and it comes with excellence behind it. So the talent, high standards, and that's a recipe for beating people by 50.
Yeah, that's insane. Um, do her players? I feel like every year her players are freshmen and sophomores. Do they ever like? They're always there, and every year they're young. I mean, how does she do that? How does she get all these young, great players in her program?
I think Prince William County is a little different in that it's not recruiting. I don't know how to explain it because obviously I grew up in Prince William County, but we have, specialties. So you can go to different schools based on a specialty. So,
Oh,
I mean, I would want to specialize in basketball with Coach Kelly too. You're going to get great there. So I don't know if probably a desire to go play for one of the best coaches is a big draw.
yeah, that'll do it. Would you put Osborne Park in the same league as those Richmond teams in the last couple of years that were insanely good? Are they that level? That this Osborne Park team?
Are we talking like the Cosbys and the?
Oh, it was the Manchester and Thomas Dale, I believe, that were so good the last couple of years. They had
Oh,
they had
yeah,
the,
yeah.
they had the girl Mia Woolfolk that went to Georgia. They had
Mhm.
I forgot some of the names, but I mean, is this team that level, Osborne Park, you think, or
Well, to be fair, the last couple of years, once we bowed out, I didn't follow the Manchesters very closely in
yeah,
Thomasdale.
yeah,
So I'm thinking like a little older, but I mean they're really really good. I
really
don't know
good.
who to even compare them to because they're kind of on an island right now of public school excellence.
Do you ever talk basketball with Coach Kelly?
Well, when I started the scrimmage, we obviously caught up a little bit.
Mhm.
But then you get so busy during the season, I haven't chatted with her in a while. Hopefully, I'll see her on Thursday. We'll see. But sometimes during the course of the year, we'll ask each other for film or something in the last, decade. But yeah, this year we haven't talked a ton. No.
Mm. Yeah. Well, it might be a big showdown coming down, but we'll take it one game at a time.
Sure.
I just want to wish you the best of luck at West Potomac. Thanks for always making yourself available. I really enjoyed watching your team play the other night. It was pretty impressive how you destroyed a team that has had so much success this year. So, I mean, you did an amazing job. you see such a positive influence on the bench there, which kids need. I think a lot of times as coaches, we can be tough on kids and they have so much pressure on them already. But
Mhm.
you seem to be doing a really great job with the positive touch over there. So I really commend you for that. And I just want to wish you the best of luck. Maybe we can talk later on in the postseason, but I would love to see, if not Robinson, not Robinson, I would love to see you bring it home.
Well, thank you for reaching out. I always love talking about the team, and thank you for the platform where I get to talk about these kids that are amazing and the year that they've had. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Again, Coach, good luck, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.